6 reasons you might not survive living in Richmond, Texas. Watch before you move. Richmond, Texas looks like the perfect suburb on paper. Lower price per square foot than Sugar Land, beautiful master plan communities, strong schools, the Brazos River running through it. People move here expecting a dream, and a lot of them get exactly that. But some of them, they're completely blindsided. Here's what nobody tells you before you sign on a dotted line. Richmond has 6 very real challenges that most buyers only discover after they've already moved in. A heat season that rewrites your monthly budget, a tax structure that quietly adds hundreds to your payment, a flooding dynamic tied to the Brazos that is unlike anything most relocators have dealt with before. I'm not here to scare you away. Loving a place means telling the full truth, not just the brochure versions. So let's get right into it. Hi everyone, I'm Natasha Carroll here with Natasha Carroll Realty. I help families from across the country relocate to communities like Richmond, Texas, Katy, Texas, Cypress, Texas, Spring, Texas, and the Memorial area of Houston. I'm dedicated to giving you the honest boots on the ground picture. And today we're walking through the 6 biggest challenges people face after moving to Richmond, Texas, so you can get completely prepared. If this is helpful, hit that subscribe button. New videos drop every single week. Now, let's go. This one catches out-of-state buyers completely off guard, and the financial impact, it is real. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, Texas electricity rates are often below the national average. But homes here use far more power because air conditioning, which is why summer bills can spike dramatically. In a newer Richmond home, expect $250 to $400 a month during peak months. In an older home with an aging HVAC system, that can climb up to $500. Your HVAC is not optional here. It is actually life support. A full replacement runs about $8,000 to $15,000. And in this climate, it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. When your 2 homes, ask the HVAC age, request the last 12 months of electric bills before you fall in love with that amazing kitchen. Your outdoor lifestyle also shifts entirely from June through September, so keep that in mind. You learn the rhythm fast, but if you're coming from anywhere where there was an actual fall season, it is a genuine adjustment. Richmond is geographically large, stretching from West Park Toll Road down along 59, bordering Rosenberg, Sugar Land, and of course Memorial City. According to Texas A&M Transportation Institute 2024 Urban Mobility Report, the Houston Metro ranks amongst the most congested in the country, with the average annual delay per commuter exceeding 50 hours per year. Now, here's the trap I see consistently. A buyer pulls up Google Maps, sees 38 minutes to the medical center, and thinks they're fine. They move in, drive on a Tuesday at 7:30 a.m., and it takes 65 minutes. And on a bad Friday, 85 minutes. That was an off-peak estimate, not a real commute. On top of that, Richmond has active freight train crossings that can hold you up at a crossing 10 to 15 minutes. If one sits between you and the highway on a Tuesday morning, your schedule is probably done. This is the financial mistake I watch smart, well-searched buyers make every single month in Richmond. And it is completely avoidable, of course. Texas has no state income tax, which is a genuine advantage to everyone. But property taxes carry the weight. And in Richmond, Developing communities, you often run into municipal utility districts known as MUDs, and sometimes levy improvement districts known as LIDs. These are taxing entities created to fund the infrastructure in the newer subdivisions. Developers build the communities using them, and buyers pay them back through tax bills for years. So this is something you really need to watch out for. Here is the math. On a say $500,000 home, a 2% rate means roughly $833 a month in escrow. At 3.4%, that same house is $1,417 a month. That is $584 monthly difference between an identical home. According to Tax Foundation's 2024 analysis, Texas ranked amongst the high states for property tax burden. That is exactly where the burden lands on new buyers. Before you fall for a floor plan, ask for the full tax certificate listing every tax entity on the property and run the real monthly payment. Don't get blindsided just by the home, okay? It's very important. So here is where we are. Richmond has a heat season that changes your energy budget, a commute geography that requires real pre-move research, and a tax structure that can make an affordable looking home quite expensive. Every single one of these is manageable when you know about it, of course, in advance before signing on the dotted line. We still have 3 more to cover, including something that can affect your home's long-term structural integrity. But before we get there, grab my free relocation guide. It covers the best neighborhoods, school ratings, cost of living, and local insights you will not find on Zillow. Completely free. Link is in the description. Here is one that stops most out-of-state buyers cold. Texas soil is not like anything you grew up with. Fort Bend County sits, I would say, on expansive, versatile soil clay that is highly moisture sensitive. When it rains, the clay swells. When drought hits it, it shrinks and contracts. That cycle creates constant movement in the ground beneath your concrete slab foundation. And according to Texas real estate research at Texas A&M University, the foundation repair is one of the most common and costly maintenance issues in the state, with repair costs ranging from a few $1,000s to $20,000 or more for significant structural work. On any resale home, look for the stair-step cracks in exterior brick and diagonal cracks at windows and door corners on the inside. They are not cosmetic. Hire a licensed structural engineer for a dedicated foundation evaluation and ask the seller if they have been on a regular foundation watering program. Yes, in Texas, we literally water the soil around our homes with soaker hoses during the dry periods to prevent shrinkage. A home neglected through the droughts is a risk. And do not assume new construction is absolutely safe. Soil prep quality varies. Never skip a third-party inspection. It is vital to the purchasing of your home in Texas. The Brazos runs directly through Fort Bend County, and according to FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program and the Fort Bend County flood maps, portions of Richmond fall within the Zone AE, the 100-year high-risk designation. What makes Brazos unique is that it does not just respond to local rainfalls. Its upstream watershed is massive, meaning heavy rain hundreds of miles away can rise the river in Richmond days later. This is river flooding completely separate from the urban storm water flooding most people are aware of. The Brazos exceed flood stage multiple times in the past decade and stayed above it for extended periods, especially after Hurricane Harvey in 2017. The financial impact is significant. According to Bank Rate's 2025 homeowners insurance analysis, Texas already ranks amongst the highest state for home insurance premium. Flood insurance in a high-risk FEMA flood zone adds about $1,500 to $3,000 or more per year. On top of that, per Insurance Information Institute data, a high-risk flood zone also shrinks your future buyer pool, which affects your long-term appreciation. Look up every property on the FEMA Flood Map Service Center at mscfema.gov before you get emotionally attached. Get a real flood insurance quote before closing. And even in Flood Zone X, buy flood insurance. In Fort Bend County, it is inexpensive and it is the smartest, cheap protection you will ever purchase. Do not rely on it didn't flood in Harvey. That was one event. Brazos River flooding is completely different story. This last one has nothing to do with data. It is about lifestyle fit. And it is the reason people feel like Richmond was not what they pictured even when nothing technically went wrong. Richmond's communities, they are, genuinely beautiful, of course. There's Aliana, there's Harvest Green, there's Long Meadow Farms, there's Venata, there's Pecan Grove, resort-style pools and trails and recreational lakes. But Richmond is not a walkable city. There's no downtown center where you can stroll to a coffee shop or stumble into a Saturday farmer's market. And according to Walk Score, most Richmond's residents' neighborhoods, they score between 20 and 40 out of 100, classifying them as car dependent. Every errand, every dinner, every social activity means getting in a car. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau data, Fort Bend County is one of the fastest growing counties in the country, which is great for long-term value. But the independent dining and retail scene is still catching up with the residential boom that is currently taking place. Here's the question I ask every client. What does a perfect Saturday look like to you? If it is a neighborhood pool, youth sports, and a grilling in a cul-de-sac, Richmond is gonna feel like the dream it looks like on paper. If it is walking to a bunch of places for brunch, finding live music spot in the afternoon, it is gonna feel like something is missing. Neither answer is wrong. They just point to different communities. The people who love Richmond, they choose it intentionally, knowing exactly what they're going to be getting. That is their move and their choice. Richmond is genuinely a great place to live for the right person. Beautiful communities, strong schools, and a real value compared to Sugar Land and Katy. But it asks specific things of you. Budget for the Texas summer, check the HVAC before anything else, drive your commute at 7:30 before you make an offer, and run the full tax math, including every mud, every lid rate before you fall in love with a floor plan. And of course, get a structural engineer on any foundation before you close. Check every property's flood zone on the map, FEMA's flood map especially, before you get emotionally invested. And be honest with yourself about the lifestyle you actually want, because Richmond delivers master plan suburban living beautifully when you choose it with full information. The families who thrive here, they went prepared, and I would love to help you be one of those families. So if you're thinking about making a move to Richmond or anywhere in the greater Houston area and you want someone who will give you the full picture before you sign anything, my team and I are here for that. My contact information is in the description box. You can text me, you can email me, you can call me, whatever works for you. Grab the free relocation guide before you go. It covers the neighborhoods, schools, the cost of living for Richmond, Katy, Cypress, Spring, and Memorial. The link is below and it's completely free. And watch this next video right here. It breaks down exactly which types of homes to avoid in Richmond and why you do not want to make the mistake I see buyers make every single month. I'm Natasha Carroll. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.